that nobody knows. His favorite music are bagpipes. At our wedding 28 years ago, he asked for bagpipes. I said no. Our 20th anniversary, he asked for bagpipes. I said no. The opening of Lux Row Distillers, he asked for bagpipes. Third time's the charm. I'm Michelle Lux, the very proud wife of Don Lux. We chose the name Lux Row Distillers for many reasons. The first of which is the beautiful drive lined with rows of trees. Crops grow in rows. The fermentation tanks are placed in rows. Barrels are aged in rows. Bottles are filled in rows. Cases are stacked in rows. It's how you tell your story that makes you different. Soon you will experience what stands behind me and you'll learn our story. Real roots, Missouri and Arkansas. Real family, the Lux family. Real products, Ezra Brooks, Rebel Yell, David Nicholson, and Blood Oath. Thank you all again for being here to celebrate this momentous event in the history of Lux Co.
I want to thank them for your huge investment here in Bardstown and Nelson County, the bourbon capital of the world. And this is truly a great day for Bardstown as we celebrate the opening of this beautiful new home for Rebel Yell and Ezra Brooks brands. Personally, I hope to see the day come when you might consider bottling your brand of El Mayor tequila right here in Bardstown.
In our industry, things are changing rapidly. You just Google it and you'll see we have distributors consolidating, suppliers, things change. And Don and I knew that we needed to take a new direction for the company. And we knew that it had to be one around focus. And if you're ever at most of our meetings with our team, it's always about focus. It's focusing on the brands, focusing on what we do best. We believe in the bourbon and tequila category, and you're standing here today in front of this because of our commitment to our brands and to our company. If you don't know, Don and I are also working on a tequila distillery in Mexico. We have wrapped up a deal on that, and all of our 100% agave needs in Exotico and El Mayor and future other brands will come out of our own distillery, much like this in Mexico. We're extremely proud of it. It's outside of Guadalajara. I can't wait to have an event there and introduce that to the public. But the most significant investment we have is here. This was a huge commitment, unlike anything that we've done as a company. We've spent and bought brands and bought other companies, but we've never made quite the investment into a single physical asset like we have here. That's because he has confidence in us. All right, he has confidence in our brands and that we can deliver on this.
Thank you for being here, everybody. I see a lot of great faces out here, and this is really a great and memorable day for Luxco. Probably one that's as memorable to me as any other one that we've had. Again, I wanted to thank Michelle and her team. Well, I want to thank her first so I don't forget, okay? Second of all, I want to thank her first because if I don't thank her first, I'm really in trouble. So I do want to thank her and her team. What she was asked to do and what she actually ended up being in charge of was a lot more, but she did it all, as she says, well, in her version on budget. I'm not sure it was our version of the budget, but somehow she got into my spreadsheet and moved some numbers around. I'm not quite sure. And then when I took them out, she said, well, that was already in my budget. So, but we worked through it. So, honey, wonderful job. I couldn't be prouder. Well done. And then there's Mr. David Bratcher. So the part he left out was when he came here on his own, probably 4 years ago, knowing that we needed to do something like this and hiring a real estate agent and going around and looking at properties and then coming back and putting them all in front of me saying, we need to do this. And I'd say, no, we're not going to do it. We're not going to spend the money. Max will make whiskey for us forever. And I'll talk about Max in a minute. And they said, no, you need to come out here. I have this vision, and so on and so forth. So, I get credit for the vision, but I have the vision because I can sign the checks. So the real vision belongs with this gentleman right here, and his idea and his forcefulness and his belief in all of you that we can do this. It's the right thing for our brands. It's the right thing for the business, and it's the right thing for us to be investing the money here like we have. So, David, thank you for challenging me and getting me to do the right thing. So those of you that are from here, there's a little tiny family kind of on that side of town, the Shapiro family, who's been here for a while, and I see Max out there. And I really need to thank Max Shapiro and his family. I think his son Andy is here with him. Max, I say he's a mentor because he's so much older than me. But he is a friend as well. But Max really got us in the bourbon business over 40 years ago. And we bought brands together. Actually, the Ezra Brooks deal and the Rebel Yell deal were deals that we did with Max in Heaven Hill. And then he supplied us the whiskey. And in fact, this wouldn't have happened, what you see behind us here, without Max helping us think through it and explaining to us that we could probably build our own facility. I mean, the fact that Evan Williams is up like 100% year over year didn't help things. But so Max, I know you're out there. I appreciate you doing this. And I actually said to Max, "Are you going to be here today?" He said, "Are you kidding me? I wouldn't miss it. I want to come see how your wife spent all your money."
Thank you, Max.
Yeah, there he is. Thank you, Max. I appreciate it. So I stand before you today not so much as your chairman and CEO. I happen to have the right last name, so I guess someone has to be the chairman and CEO, but really much more as a steward of our company history and our heritage, and really what you see today behind you, David talked a little bit about it, is a culmination of years and years of foresight and risk-taking and a belief in the people and the individuals within the organization by two men who are not here today. One of them was my grandfather, David Sherman Sr., and he dropped out of school. He was born in 1902 in rural Arkansas, dropped out of school somewhere between the 3rd and 8th grade, and he knew how to get a deal done. And he was always a deal maker. He went to work at a very young age, and somehow, he says after Prohibition, I could really never get him to admit it, but during Prohibition, he was probably running whiskey. But he became a salesman in Arkansas, worked his way up, bought some distributorships in Arkansas and Missouri, and he really just had a foresight on how to get deals done, and he was the ultimate hustler and whiskey man. But he always knew how to bring people together and get people to really come together and produce a great result. And then there's his son-in-law, my father, Paul Lux, who David talked about. The two of them could not be more polar opposites. Dad was raised in Kansas City, Missouri, born in 1930, was a great student, loved school, always wanted to go to MIT, finished near the top of his high school class, and got into MIT and got on a train sight unseen, slide rule, pocket square, big old glasses, and off he went to MIT to find his way. Somehow those two men came together and built what was David Sherman Corporation and is now Lux Co. So it was through my grandfather and then his brother-in-law, David Sherman Jr., his son, David Sherman Jr., my dad's brother-in-law, that the three of them came together and built what is today Lux Co. My dad's kind of engineering demeanor and my uncle and my grandfather's knack for how to get a deal done all came together, and we were able to build the business. So their legacy today, when I think about what I was going to say today, is really critical and fundamental. And they set the gold standard for Lux Co. and for me. I was fortunate to get to work with all three of them and understand that you really just hire the best people you can, you trust them to get the job done, you invest in your business, and you just let things happen. And so I wasn't always that way, right, David?
You were always that way.
There you go, good answer. So as we celebrate here today, if you think about our motto for Lux Co, mindful of the past as we focus on the future. We talk about that a lot because the history of my grandfather and my uncle and my dad is a big part of who we are because of the values in the methodology to build a business that they instilled in all of you, all of us. So there's certainly been some defining moments within Luxco for those of you that have been here for a while. Getting in the tequila business back in the 60s, getting in the whiskey business, of course, Dad buying our first brand, which was Everclear, buying some brands with Max, with Ezra Brooks and Rebel Yell, and then today will certainly be added to that list. 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, we'll all be remembering this day as a monumental day in the evolution of Luxco. So as I stand in front of you, I really couldn't be more prouder of the job all of you have done, especially the Luxco group. But our work is far from done. In fact, it's just starting here, as David alluded to. I would have never done this if I didn't have the trust in all of you to really take the ball and run with it. My work is done. I've written all the checks, okay? Well, we have a few more whiskey warehouses, so not all of them. But really, the onus is on you. These are just bricks and mortar, and as David alluded to, the bricks and mortar are just that. And brands are just brands. But brands and bricks and mortar and a company is nothing without the individuals working there, and how they operate the business, run the business, and how they treat each other, not only the partners outside the business, but those inside the business, which would be their co-workers, whether it's me being chairman and CEO all the way down to somebody sweeping the floors. They know the expectation that's been set by me and David and everyone else, and we lead by example. It's the people that build the greatness, and they get shit done. And that's what we do at Luxco. We get stuff done. I guess I should have said stuff. But David and I do talk about it. We get shit done. I mean, you have to get shit done. That's what we do. So I couldn't be prouder to be here in front of you as your chairman and CEO. I think we're going to cut the ribbon here in a minute. But thanks again to everyone for being here. It's certainly a day to remember for me. As David said, I think Dad and Dave are looking down on us. And as we say back home, let's go Luxco, we can say it here, let's go Lux Row. Thank you very much.